please don't play this for anybody. I don't normally do this.
I think we're being set up for an ambush.
Dodge this.
Ambushed. To be attacked suddenly by someone lying in wait.
You say, well, you know, the way you preach causes us and them. It is us and them!
Apostate. Someone whose beliefs have changed and who no longer belong to a religious or political group.
You side with them, I'll throw you out. Get out!
Escaping cults. Rejecting delusion. Embracing reality. Breaking the chains. Freeing your mind. And becoming your own person. This is the Ambushed Apostate Podcast with your host, Seth Henderson.
Dodge this.
Good evening, folks. Ken Hovind here in the crew at Dinosaur.
What's up? Am I live? I think we're live. What's going on, everybody? My name's Seth, and if you're new here, welcome. Today, we are going to get into Kent Hovind. And if you don't know who he is, we'll get to it. But this guy decides to pick little old me to do a live stream about. He whacked me. So, a little bit of backstory on how this started. Me and my roommate, Caruso, were sitting here eating supper. I'm getting ready to go to work. And I get a message from a friend of the channel, and he's like, Kent's covering you. And I was like, me or Chris? What? I pull it up, and Kent's talking about me. So what I want to do first is just play the video in case some of you guys hadn't seen it. I've cut out all of his nonsense about giants ruling the world and, 900-year-old birds and things like that. We're going to watch the video mostly uninterrupted so that you can kind of get a gauge on what was said. And then I'm going to bring in a couple friends to help me break down some of the more nuanced details of Kent's nonsense. So this is from the 18th of September. And let's just watch for a second.
Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama. It is what? September the 18th, 2025. Tonight, open mic. Evolution's the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the world. Prove me wrong. And we're going to talk about giant humans. Call 855 Big Dino extension 1 to talk to the secretary. There we are, drdino.com. Okay, let's see. This guy, ambushed somebody. Ambushed apostate.
That's your boy. And I just want to say this is a typical Kent tactic. I noticed this very first thing. He takes a video and finds the most unappealing screenshot he can possibly use. I don't know why he'd do that to me. I think I'm pretty decent looking if you use the right screenshot, but this is Kent's behavior. So let's see what he's got to say about me, because again, I haven't made any content on Kent. I was not trying to pick a fight with Kent. This was sort of out of the blue. So let's see.
Well, let me show you what he said here real quickly. Ambushed, you're welcome to call in. Let's see. Let me let him blabber for a minute.
Everyone's favorite creationist cult leader, Kent Hovind, is back on YouTube for a third time after being banned twice by YouTube for, you guessed it,
Kent can't run technology at all. So basically, he's playing a different video over top of this video. And we're going to come back to that after we watch this. But he doesn't know how to get the window
over there, didn't I?
To the right screen, unfortunately.
Joseph, you got the audio. Did I drag it over?
Yeah, we heard it. No video.
Okay. Let me put him over here.
breaking the rules. The legendary Emma Thorne was able to rally her subscribers.
Legendary Emma Thorne. Emma, I'll debate you anytime, twice a day, all day. Okay. You have nothing to back up your stupid.
He's creepy with how he talks about Emma. He has some sort of obsession with her because she was responsible in large part for getting his, I guess it would have been his second or third channel technically shut down for the ban evasion from his first channel being shut down. So he's really got it out for her.
Evolution religion. So Emma is the one who got all of her followers to say, hey, let's take down his channel. See what they do? They can't, you can't answer the person, so you silence them. Isn't that what they did with Charlie Kirk? Can't answer him, so let's shoot him. I'm sure.
And of course, it wouldn't be Kent Hovind without his persecution complex. He and Charlie Kirk are the same people. He's probably in his mind more important, but Kent's obsessed with this persecution. They're coming after me. And he goes on to say that he's probably on a list already. So
they got me on their list too. Yeah, go ahead. Well, you can't threaten me with heaven. Okay. So Emma Thorne got her followers to say, hey, let's take down Kent's channel. Emma, I'm going to whack you again one of these times when I get time. I go every Wednesday night. Maybe I should do 3 or 4 a day. I'll whack an atheist. Okay. Anyway, Emma got her
It's creepy, Kent.
followers.
Report Kent's second channel, and it was shut down at the beginning of 2025. During this time, other content creators like Caruso.
We're going to go back to this, but notice the video here is not the video here. I'm going to use that as a real-time example to show how Kent is dishonest. So now he's going to get into attacking some of my squad.
Time, other content creators like Caruso smeared.
And Kent loves Caruso tomato, and Kent doesn't know it yet.
Hey, Kent. How you doing?
That's my roommate. So if we ever debate Kent, it'll be sort of a tag team thing. Also, we have, well, I don't want to spoil the plans, but it would be nice to take a road trip at some point to Alabama. Maybe. We'll get to that later.
With Soot, the trucker Billy, Big Bad Mama, Atheist Junior.
Content creators? Guys, let me just go back to my PowerPoint here, Joseph. These guys are content creators. Oh.
More technical problems. Also, shout out to Soot. Soot, he mentioned something here. Let's play it back real quick so you can hear it. He mentioned something about Soot specifically, talking about he got my first channel shut down. No, Soot just pointed out, sort of like Emma did the second time, that you were purchasing subscribers. He was gaining a subscriber every 6 minutes, from what I understand. There's some documentation that I want to get a hold of when I do a more polished response to Kent, and I'm going to include that. But yeah, shout out to Soot. He didn't go out of his way to shut your channel down. You're breaking the rules. You were buying subscribers, same as Emma didn't. She was just pointing out, hey, we're all playing by the same rules here, except for Kent. He's ban evading. So they pulled him off. It's really that simple, but love you, Soot.
Guys,
mean it.
Let me just go back to my PowerPoint here, Joseph. These guys are content creators. Oh, right here. Okay. Let's see. Caruso Tomato. He has 250 subscribers. Go get him tomato, okay? And Smeared with Soot, 188 subscribers. Yep. And he took down my channel. Boy, you brave man. I'll debate all of you guys together, okay? And Big Bad.
No, you won't. You hang up on us. You hang up on Big Bad Mama. You hang up on me. No, you won't. Yeah.
Mama, who's also Crybaby, who's also what else? Why don't they just give their real name? What's the problem? Mine's Kent Hovind. I live at 488 Pearl Lane, cabin 1. Yeah, I don't have nothing to hide. Okay.
Well, part of the reason we don't give our names, well, some of us don't. I do, not because of Kent, but some of us are scared of you because you dox people. You put people's Google Earth images of their homes on the internet and tell your followers to go, in some veiled way, show them the truth. Well, I can't remember what he said. If somebody remembers what he said about that person he dogs, please put it in the chat. But that's why we don't want to get involved and give you our names, Kent, because you do psychotic things. I mean,
30 truck driver Billy. He has 140 subscribers now. Go get him, Billy. Okay. Big Bad Mama, 2,000 subscribers. Atheist Junior, almost 9,000, because he mentions my name in almost all of his videos. It's the only reason.
Shouts out to AJ too.
Okay. Let's see. Cloudy Bowels. Cloudy's got over 1,000 subscribers. Go get him, Cloudy. Simon Dan, 600,000. He deceives all his people into believing the dumb evolution religion. Okay.
No, he doesn't. And funny, Kent, that you didn't read Professor Dave's subscribe numbers. See, all this pausing and having the boxes around everybody's subscription count. At the beginning of his intro, he's always got all of his sub counts. Kent's obsessed with image. He's a narcissist. He has to be, constantly reassured that he's the most important. So he's going around, he's picking on these little channels. Oh, good job. Go get them at 1,000 subscribers. But then it gets to somebody who smokes him on subscribers, and he doesn't even mention his name, even though it's right there on the screen. So again, if you want to really understand how Kent operates, this is the type of subtle manipulation with information that makes him so dangerous. And that is something I really want to break down in really surgical detail in a proper response. But those little things like that add up, and that is how he controls information. So pay attention to stuff like that.
He deceives all his people into believing the dumb evolution religion. Okay. So These are some of the comments on this video, the short clip I just played part of. I wasn't jailed for tax fraud. I covered that last night. It was for structuring and failure to withhold taxes from employees, and I didn't break any laws, okay? Watched my show last night.
Kent has been explained this specific topic ad nauseum. Caruso's done an entire thing where he read the indictment. I mean, everybody's covered. There's been documentaries made on his jail stint. So we're also going to come back and get into that for just a few minutes. But he just looks at the facts, the reality, and just says, nuh-uh. And he thinks that we're just going to leave it alone. But every time he says, I never broke a law, it is so important to say, yeah, Kent, you did. You were found guilty on 58 separate counts of various crimes, and you were also sentenced to nearly a decade in jail. He can say that the laws don't exist. We can show him the laws. He cannot wiggle his way out of this because, again, he's misrepresenting the past for his gullible followers. So it's important that we stay on top of stuff like this.
Show me what law I broke instead of just saying I'm a tax protester. Had employees working as slave laborers. Really? How many of you are slave laborers here? Well, we got 5, 6, 7 of them in the room now. Well, we had a long day today. I think they work pretty hard because they love the Lord. I do. I'm 72. I could retire a long time ago. There's a war going on. I want to keep going. Anyway.
Great point, Dade Murphy in the chat. Kent Hovind is beneath my intellectual level. He's literally a dishonest interlocutor who isn't trying to have an open and honest debate. Kent doesn't want to debate. Kent wants to run his scripts. Kent wants to hear what you say. It runs through this very basic program, and it's a slide in his mind. He pulls it up and says, okay, he has no interest in debating. So Dade, you're 100% right with that. Also, Kent just made a really concerning statement, but it's also something, again, a little thing that he does that needs to be looked at. He just said there's a war going on. You know, with everything going on right now, it makes that even more concerning, but make no mistake about it. Kent truly believes that they are coming any 3 minutes, not today, but definitely tomorrow. And they're coming for the Christians, and they're going to behead them in the streets and all this psychotic stuff. He mentions war and preparing a lot. And he also brings up this old Charlie Kirk thing, which, to be fair, I'm not going to get into that on this stream, but he does mention that at the end of this.
And the money he transferred illegally, that is just plain lying, okay? You're lying about me. I didn't transfer any money illegally. Kent never learned that he doesn't make the rules. His malignant narcissism doesn't know what to do with that. Show me what rule I broke. I went over them last night, the 3 different charges they put me in jail for. Show me which one I violated. Come on. Let's see. A hairball, hair like a rabbit. Okay. Perhaps a bit of research is needed on your part.
This is kind of confusing if you don't know what's going on. Basically, he's taking comments from these videos and he's piecing together things that sort of make him look good. He's reading a response from one of his minions, I guess, responding to me, but it's not even from the same video he played. And I'm going to show that at the end once we've watched through this. This is just him, again, finding little pieces of random information to cobble together to present dishonestly and say, look, I mean, all the commenters know I'm right. This guy's clearly crazy. But when you start breaking down the individual pieces, we're going to see that all this is cobbled together nonsense.
There was no formal employment, only independent contracting. Taking your own money you earned out of your bank is not wrong or illegal. Structuring was a law designed to catch drug money launderers, the mafia and drug dealers, and the law.
And cult leading conservative creationists that, you know, don't want to do what everyone else has to do. Again, it goes back to this whole thing of YouTube breaking the rules. I'm just going to come back, even though I've broke the rules. We have to follow these IRS regulations. Yes, some of them may be annoying. Some of them may be overbearing. We play by the rules. You have chosen not to, and we don't like that. The courts don't like it, so they locked you up for it. To live in denial, though, it blows my mind that he just asserts continually, I didn't even break a law. Well, we'll show that in here in a minute.
The form was never promulgated by the IRS. It's not even a law. It never passed. There isn't a law about structuring. Okay. Prosecutor committed suicide by hanging himself for kid fiddling. The judge wasn't exactly Christian, hated Christians, okay? Nor was she likely to side with Christians, handing out very harsh punishments for Christians, 10 years. people who rob banks or gas stations with guns might get that kind of sentence for a first offense, not a guy with a dinosaur park in his backyard. Anyway.
That let 7-year-old kids drown because they weren't properly supervised by someone trained in CPR and lifeguarding. Or someone that allows people with known CSA convictions on their record to come stay with minors unsupervised at all. Those kind of people, right?
There should be no S. Anyways, doesn't have the S, guys. They do that all the time. Anyways. Okay. Anyway. I think that Kent is not the enemy, and there are much worse people out there to concentrate on. You can disagree with him and his teachings, but hate is not a good thing to harbor. He doesn't run a cult. He's a Baptist minister with a science center and a theme park based on dinosaurs and the Bible. Why do they keep saying it's a cult? Why don't you show me why?
Welcome to all the Hovindites in the chat. Not sure how many of them there are, but there's one. So, hey, I'm not going to block you like Kent blocks me. I can't even talk to him in his chat. So welcome. Let me just go back 1 second.
Why don't you show me?
This is what really stuck in my craw about Kent, because I don't think he realizes that, you've got people like Austin Sims who tackle the biology side, and you've got people like AJ who talk about the neurological side of this whole overall deconstruction process and all of this stuff, right? I focus on cults and high control religious groups. So for him to ask me what he's about to ask me, I think he's going to regret at some point in the near future. Disclaimer, Kent, that's not a threat. I'm going to make a video showing exactly why you're in a cult. Don't get crazy with this.
Why?
Why are we in a cult?
I'll be careful. I don't think he runs a cult, nor committed a crime worth 10 years in jail. I didn't commit a crime at all, okay? I really think you just hate Christianity. I agree with that, okay? Ambushed apostate writes in, well, that's why I produce the content I do. Because you hate Christians.
No, that is not at all what I meant by that. So I will clarify. I do not hate Christians. I hate people who weaponize this religion against people who are well-meaning but very gullible. I'm speaking to my former self. I'm speaking to some of my family members that I still love dearly, but they buy into nonsense. You weaponize that to hurt these people. We can have the discussion all day is, do you really want to believe everything that's true? Is there any real reason to be religious? It's all bunk. It brings some people comfort. Some people are not ready to be unplugged, if you want to use a Matrix analogy. And I don't think every church everywhere is intentionally being harmful. I make content not because I hate Christians. I hate abusive, destructive, manipulative Christians like you. There's a very clear difference. So that's why I make what I make. I love dearly many Christian people, including my own children. So I don't hate Christians. I just hate people that weaponize it like you do.
Rub you the wrong way, don't we? Yeah. They say if you're rubbing the cat the wrong way, tell the cat to turn around, okay? Cat the wrong way, tell the cat to turn, because we rub you the wrong way, don't we? Yeah. They say if you're rubbing the cat the wrong way, tell the cat to turn around, okay?
I'm going to leave that one alone.
We do psychology. We look at psychology, and demonstrable scientific methods to measure cult behavior. Okay, well then, apostate, you're the perfect one to tell me exactly why it's a cult. Kent Hovind matches the criteria.
You're right, and I'm working on it.
Of being cult leader 100 times over. Well, that ought to be easy for you to give some specifics. You match all the characteristics of being an idiot 1,000 times over, but I'll debate you anyway, sweetly and Christian.
Once again, we have Kent calling names, disparaging people openly. This is, I said I wasn't going to bring it up, but this was an issue I had with all of the quotes you're seeing from Charlie Kirk. You have this division in the brain of this is what we're supposed to treat people like, how the Bible says we're supposed to treat people, but here's how we're going to treat them. And then we're going to retroactively superimpose the Bible and justify it. It's crazy. But what this is, I did an interview a while back and I mentioned that I was a kind bully when I was in these circles. This is what I meant. They disparage people. They'll straight call them names. He's going to get into in just a second that I can't hold a job or I can't work a day in my life, wouldn't survive down there working for them. Everything, when they're talking like this, make no mistake about it, this is bully behavior. And when you're hearing this from somebody in a position of authority, it's like, oh, okay, well, he talks like that about people, so I'll start talking that way about people. That is what happened to me. And when I deconstructed and I looked back and I saw how I viewed and talked about people that weren't me, it was like, this is sick. What happened? This is what causes that type of behavior, like a slow drip all the time for years from the leader of whatever group you're in doing this. It's toxic behavior to mock people and to call people names like this, and then sweetly in Christian love at the end. Very, very toxic.
Love characteristics of being an idiot 1,000 times over, but I'll debate you anyway, sweetly in Christian love. Okay, let's see. Nothing has, huh?
Hey, I'll give up a month's pay if you invite that guy down here to work with us for a week.
You'll give a month's pay to invite him down here to work with us for a week. He couldn't handle a week at work here.
Hey,
He probably couldn't handle one day. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You know, this guy in the audience, some random dude that's down there says, hey, I'll give him a month's worth of pay to come down here and work for a week. I bet he couldn't cut it. And then Kent says, I bet he wouldn't make it a day. It's like, you've never met me. You've taken a couple videos from here and there and you've tried to spin me in a certain way. But everyone in that room now has this perception that I'm, you know, some lazy, unintelligent, whatever. Very gross, Kent.
He's one of those guys that clocks in at Walmart and then goes and hides in the bathroom, talks on his cell phone all day long. Yeah, okay.
Oop.
Has to do with someone taking.
Stand by. I have something playing and I don't know where it's coming from.
I think we're being set up for an ambush.
Chris, can you come in here for a minute?
Dodge this.
I have no idea. Stand by.
To be attacked suddenly by someone lying in wait.
You say, well, you know, the way you preach causes us and them.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. This is my first live stream solo. And yeah, you know, the stream just started replaying in a completely separate app for no reason, as it does. My bad. Let's get back to it.
Him down here to work with us for a week.
All right. Yeah. He was talking junk again. Super stupid. Super.
Has to do with someone taking Christianity and weaponizing it to abuse his well-meaning yet gullible followers. I don't abuse any followers. You're welcome to get a new channel, apostate. Just push a button. There's a button on your computer someplace to change channels. Okay. Let's see. Amber Smith. Evolution has evidence. Really? I've been asking for it for 35 years. Show it to me. Where's the evidence? And con man, not a real doctor. That bothers him, doesn't it? Look at that right here.
Again, we've been over this Dr. Hovind thing. I'll refuse, and we'll never call him doctor because he's not. We know how he got his diploma mill, degrees. I'm not even going to get into it right now, but he's about to go on. A minute ago, I talked about the narcissism with the sub counts and, being compared to Charlie Kirk. And now he's going to go off and make sure everybody knows that he really is a doctor. And it really bothers us that he has that title. What it really bothers is him because someone is questioning and challenging this facade that a narcissist lives behind. Someone's poking at it and he doesn't like it. So we get things like this psychotic behavior.
See that? Dr. Kent Hovind. That bother you? Good. I'm so glad. Hope it keeps you up late at night. Okay.
Kent, please. There are children watching, and that is frightening. Let's watch that one more time.
Hope it keeps you up late at night.
Bro, don't hurt yourself.
Okay.
That's creepy.
Hovind versus ambushed apostate. I guess I did whack him some time ago. Well, this is on Big Bad Mama's channel.
Shout out to James, Big Bad Mama.
Kent's a
I
charlatan.
got to meet him up in Kentucky. Super cool,
A great
dude.
testament to Kent's delusion, and inadequacy. Kent thinks the Flintstones prove dinosaurs lived with human beings. Dinosaurs need more oxygen in the air than man does. This only points to the fact we couldn't have lived at the same time. No, you moron. There was greater oxygen concentration and greater air pressure, and both humans and dinosaurs needed that because humans were big too.
Humans and dinosaurs live together in Kent's mind, and people live to be 900.
Roll that video number 3. Get my seminar series, watch it, copy it, send it back, get your money back, and then tell me where I'm wrong. Okay. Let's see. Right here. Bible says there were giants in the earth in those days. I think it says that because there were giants in the earth in those days. This is right before the flood came. Two other male and female, 9'4" and 8', others 10 feet tall, found in Ohio. There's tons of stuff on this apostate. There.
Alrighty, my fault. All right, so Alien X Gaming, I misread your comment, sir. I apologize. Dropped a follow, and Kent is one of the worst people in the world. I'm human. I make mistakes every day. I apologize. Welcome, Gaming, and everybody else who's here. Just let me take a second real quick. Dave, Captive Desk, I'm so glad he is back in the saddle. I was worried about you, bro, for a little bit. We got Deviant and Soot in the house. Robin, what's up, Robin? Laura. I got all the cool people here. Dade Murphy dropped by my channel. Holy crap. Got to talk to him a couple days ago with Brooklyn Lou. Trying to get a hold of some of that footage, but somebody decided to jump in the live stream and do something really inappropriate, so we couldn't actually upload it. So that's unfortunate. Shouts out to Dave Murphy. Great channel. Hilarious dude. And everybody else. I'm not sure who all's still here, but I love you guys. I definitely mean it. We're almost done with this, and I'm actually going to bring on, I think, Austin. I haven't checked. I'm going to look real quick when this is playing. I got to get up with Austin, and I think Chris is going to jump on, and we're going to go over a few quick little things about Kent, and then we're going to let you guys get back to your day. But I just wanted to say thanks for hanging out. I've enjoyed this. Let's continue.
Your religion is stupid. Evolution isn't true. The opposite is true. Before the flood came, the Bible says the people lived to be 900, and there's lots of legends of the golden age. Why does that bother you so much? Well, does it bother you that the Bible might be true? Why would that bother anybody? Oh, I know. Their lifestyle. Yeah, okay.
Again, he knows nothing about us. He knows, what if we spend every weekend at a soup kitchen, doing charity work, volunteering somewhere? He spends it, poisons the well, just like he was doing with the other stuff earlier. Oh, it's their lifestyle. They don't want the Bible to be true. They don't want the Bible to be true. It doesn't matter what we want, by the way. It's demonstrably false on every single metric. But he implies, again, I can't attack this argument, so I'm going to attack this person. I'm going to make sure that when this person calls in, all my viewers are primed for he's an immoral sack of crap, essentially, is where he's going with it. And again, I used to think this way about people, so I know how that develops. There's another little nuanced detail that he throws in to disparage and to discredit and really devalue the person he's talking about.
Let's see. What's this one? Let me go.
This may just be
canopy overhead.
All right.
Ice, super cold ice is magnetic. I give all the evidence for that.
This is just Kent struggling with some tech issues yet again. He does mention someone asked him at the end of this about Charlie Kirk. I was going to play it. I'm actually going to not play it because I'm working on content specifically about Kirk. I want this to be specifically about Kent. So he says some kind of crazy stuff about him. And of course, he was better than Kirk. But I'm going to play real quick, speaking of him, a 90-second promo for a project that I'm working on while I send the links to Restream to the people who are going to be joining us. If you can't stay, I understand. Thank you for coming. We take a quick little break, and then we will be back with Caruso for sure, and I think Austin Sims. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to drop it in the chat, and I will vet the people coming in. But if you would like to hop in and say, hey, on sort of this this first official solo live stream, and you want to hang out for a second, I've got some time. So let's give it 90 seconds. We're going to watch this Charlie Kirk project I'm working on, and I'll be right back. But I should probably change to the right tab so that you guys can see it. At least I'd be like Kent Hovind. Let's see here. Boom. 90 seconds.
September 10th, 2025, conservative podcaster and MAGA mouthpiece Charlie Kirk was shot and killed while speaking at one of his American comeback tour stops at Utah Valley University. Many of my allies in this community have already covered this event ad nauseum, so I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I've linked some of their top shelf content down in the description of this video. As for me, I'm going to approach this topic from two specific angles. First, we will examine a few of Kirk's views and compare them to what Jesus actually said in Scripture. Simultaneously, I'll explain why and how Kirk's teachings have not only brainwashed his followers and stolen their empathy, their humanity, but what his specific type of indoctrination has primed MAGA to do in the wake of his death. With great shame and embarrassment, I'll admit, I was Charlie Kirk in many ways for many years. I was MAGA through and through until my deconstruction in 2019. I hated people blindly just because I was told to. I ignored evidence that was right in front of my face, and I treated everyone who wasn't me like the less than trash I viewed them as.
Dodge this.
And he's muted.
Okay. I'm glad this is going out live to all these wonderful people. I totally bungled that preview because I was talking with my mic not muted and I was halfway on the screen. I bungled it. I apologize. And now the chats come in. Y'all are awesome. Thanks for putting up with me. Welcome Caruso Tomato, who is on the other side of that wall, matter of fact.
Yep.
And we've got Austin Sims on the way. So I think, Chris, just real quick, give your take, I guess, on the whole call. Anything you want to say specifically about it?
I mean, this is Kent's usual case of just having to pick a target. And you had noticed as you were watching it, their search queries previously. Because he had just done the Apostate Ashley video, which I'm going to look at later. So it looks like they put in Apostate Kent Hovind is what you saw. And of course, you're going to come up if you search that, having done Kent Hovind content.
Yeah, it's hard to see through the compression, through YouTube, Restream, and all this stuff. You can't really zoom in and see it. Through the original footage, I've zoomed in. He searched Apostate Kent Hovind, and he clearly found me, Apostate Ashley. He's probably just looking for, in his mind, what would be low-hanging fruit, but just people with that in the name, that would make sense. For the record, he also did not remember the fact that I had called him twice. Early on, he says, call in sometime, and I've done videos on that, but I think he was just sort of fishing around for content. Go ahead.
I'd already forgotten what I was going to say.
I'm sorry. I derailed it. I apologize. Hey, did you get Austin that link?
Yeah.
Cool. Matter of fact, let me just drop it in the chat. So yeah, I'll be honest, Chris. I thought it would be you for sure before it was me.
Well, I mean, it kind of was though, because remember that's what my August 8th incident was about when he first noticed me and did the same thing, reading through comments. So
that is
this
true.
sort of sub level of whacking.
And to be fair, this was not a proper whacking from Kent. Whacking Atheist Wednesday, is normally more dedicated.
It was almost more of a whacking atheist mixed with a comments on comments kind of thing. He just kind of blends those two ideas together and doing this.
He blends the two different kinds together.
Yep, my kinds.
So, actually, Chris, you're not a mod. I'm trying to figure out real quick how to. Here we go. Sorry, I'm literally Kent Hovind right now. You guys should see a Restream link in the chat if you would like to come on, discuss all things Kent, to discuss anything about this call. While we do that, I am going to go real quick and show you guys the video that he played initially, the audio versus the screenshot, the unappealing half blank, half word screenshot.
Yeah, he mixed and matched things.
Yeah, I mean it's his MO. But let's see why maybe he didn't play the video that was on screen, because that's your first thought is like it's already up there. Why would Kent not want to play the short that he had picked initially for the screenshot? Let's watch it and find out. Good. You know, they're all 60 seconds, so it's not going to take long. But let's just listen, and then we'll figure out exactly why. I swear I'll get better at this. I promise.
Today's episode of At the Intersection of Delusion and Entitlement, we listen to a very influential, tax-cheating, wife-beating, cult-leading extremist named Kent Hovind. Kent puts on a masterclass in theocratic warfare for his echo chamber. Let's listen.
But I have not filed any income tax in 28 years. I don't keep any records. I'm not required to. There's no law requiring me to. If you say, Brother Hovind, I will trade you 40 hours of my time for $400, that's not income for either one of us either. A true church shouldn't.
He makes up reality as he goes along. I do a job and get paid, but it's not income. It is, by definition, delusion.
Not get building permits. You simply cannot ask permission from a county to do something that belongs to God's church. If they come to your door, there's all sorts of things you can do there, which is, again, a long story.
That rings a little bit more true right now.
Wonder what that could be, Kent.
And just to be clear, I want to play it one more time for posterity in case somebody was maybe taking a drink or eating something and couldn't hear. Listen close to what he says. If the IRS comes to your door after you've basically committed fraud.
If they come to your door, there's all sorts of things you can do there, which is, again, a long story.
Would it be a surprise to anyone?
The only thing you need to do there is comply. And if, you want to fight this tax thing in court, that's one thing. We can go on to a completely different topic of where you draw, the line to say, I can't stand for this. This is not it, Kent. Committing open fraud for over a year, probably around $450,000 worth of money that you illegally transferred, is not worth taking someone's life over. You just need to start playing by the rules.
Anyone out there that a few years after this video was released, Kent and his wife spent time in federal prison for, you guessed it, tax fraud. Shocking. If you're seeing this behavior from your group, run. This is a red flag, and this is cult behavior.
Dodge this.
And this is really young, even more inexperienced ambushed apostate content. So a little cringy. But yeah, that is why, honestly, he didn't play that. He didn't want that type of smoke. He wanted to make me look stupid by taking a random screenshot and then playing a completely separate audio over top of it. So prime example of Kent's behavior. And we also have... Oh my goodness, it's deconstructing Laura. Welcome, friend.
Howdy.
How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay? Because I just got my earpiece in.
I sure can.
Awesome.
Good to see you.
I just wanted to share with the class that I had a really good chat with my dad last night. My dad is on his way out of being MAGA. My dad is Baptist. My dad has been Baptist for longer than I have been. My dad is one of the best people on the planet, and I super duper love him. So, he raised me to be a Christian, and I was until 5 years ago. So, looking at my daddy, I call him daddy. Sorry, I know I sound like Kent Hovind, but he's my daddy. So, looking at my dad and saying, Dad, I don't believe in Jesus anymore, was a super duper hard thing to do. But he still loves me and still accepts me. And we went over to dinner last night. And he said to me, Laura, have you heard of Charlie Kirk? And I said, yes, I know all about the very bad person that Charlie Kirk is. I'm going to turn my fan off because that may be really loud in the background too. Yes, I know all about Charlie Kirk and the monster that he is. And Dad's like, I don't want to talk about that. I'm like, okay, great. And my dad said something really cool. He said, the thing that I don't like about this whole Charlie Kirk nonsense is that other people died that day. And that the Republicans have just been going blah, 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 Charlie Kirk, Charlie Kirk, Charlie Kirk, and they're not talking about anybody else who died that day. And I said, I know there was a school shooting. And my dad had a friend who tragically died in an industrial accident a couple of days after. And the media has said nothing about my dad's friend. The media has said nothing about the school shooting. And my dad is catching on. It's been slow, but my dad is catching on. And I share this story to give everybody else hope. If you've got family members that you think are crazy deep in the MAGA, just keep pushing, because something's going to give. And my dad knows that my dad doesn't listen to Kent Hovind, but my dad knows that what Kent Hovind says about atheists is crap. And because my dad knows me, and my dad knows that I hold down a job, and that I pay my taxes.
Right. Well, first off, I want to say thank you for sharing that. And right now is the time to make those subtle conversations happen with people who are involved but aren't totally psychotic. And to be completely clear, there are way more Trump supporters. It's hard to explain. I've been there and I've seen these type of people. There are a lot of people who supported Trump just because they didn't want to support his opponent.
Yes.
They aren't selling their soul to him necessarily in the beginning. And I think now that the time has come to either support this fascist dictatorship or be othered, essentially, I think those people, your dad, I have hope that some of my older kids are in that same boat. And there's, you sharing that really, really touched me, because I'm in those same type of situations. But right now is the time to have them, because those people who were not truly white supremacist crazy people from the very beginning are starting to look around and go, I can't support this anymore. What this man has said over his short career, that's now being essentially idolized and worshiped by, all Republicans. It's like, well, I have to see myself out now, because that's not me. That to me gives a lot of hope. And I appreciate you sharing. I've got a couple older kids in their teens that, you have subtle conversations with them and you just hope that things will start sinking in. So I'm grateful to hear that. And I hope you will give us some updates as that develops, because that's awesome.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm going to dip because I got Legos to work on. But I'll have a great
You go work on your Legos, Laura. Laura's been a huge friend of the channel. And to be honest, I wouldn't be in Tennessee yet without Laura. So thank you so much, Laura. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you for sharing that.
I'll have a great day.
I cut her. I have done everything wrong in this stream. Literally cut her off while she was talking, butchered the trailer, and yet I still have people watching. I am just blown away. I love you guys like family. It's great. Austin Sims.
What's up, y'all?
Yo.
Sorry, it looks like I'm a little late.
No, you're good, man. We were literally just spitballing some things about Kent.
Do I sound okay? Can you hear me?
You sound great, man.
Okay,
you're good.
I'll ask you, for the sake of brevity and our 15 wonderful viewers, have you seen the call already between me and Kent?
I have not. Or wait, no. What you're talking about, the original call where you called them in and started off
the whack. The whacking.
No, I haven't seen the
whacking is what we're calling it.
I haven't seen it. I have not seen the whack.
So we went through it. There's not a ton to it. For the people who have come in late, I'm going to run a 3-minute little recap that I put some little lighthearted emojis over. Austin, if you want to watch it, and then we can talk a little bit more about it. I'm going to wrap this up around 1 o'clock. Chris is going to be going live to start unpacking some of these other, whacking atheist he's done recently. I think, Chris, what are you planning on covering today? Do you know yet?
I think what I was going to do is whack an atheist on apostate, actually. That was going to be what I hit up. I mean, I could also need to do his stream from today. I'll take a skim over that and see if it's worth looking at. Okay.
Well, are you going to do that right at 1 o'clock? If so, anybody who wants to watch Chris's look into some of Kent's whackings from recently, we will just forward the stream over that way. I'm going to play this video. 3 minutes. I'm gonna take a quick break and get a drink. We're gonna watch this, Austin. This will get you up to speed, man. So give me 1 second. I'm doing the Kent thing again. Jesus help us. Now I know why Chris Mallard needs someone helping him in the background. I'll just leave that there for right now. This is a lot harder than it looks, and I appreciate y'all bearing with me.
Good evening, folks. Ken Hovind here in the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama. It is what, September the 18th, 2025. Tonight, open mic. Evolution's the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the world. Prove me wrong. And we're going to talk about giant humans. This guy, ambushed somebody, ambushed apostate. Well, let me show you what he said here real quickly. Ambushed, you're welcome to call in. Let's see. Let me let him blabber for a minute.
Everyone's favorite creationist cult leader, Kent Hovind, is back on YouTube for a third time after being banned twice by YouTube for, you guessed it.
Okay. Did I forgot to drag it over there, didn't I? Let me put him over here.
Breaking the rules. The legendary Emma Thorne was able to rally her subscribers.
Legendary Emma Thorne. Emma, I'll debate you anytime, twice a day, all day. I'm going to whack you again one of these times when I get time.
And it was shut down at the beginning of 2025. During this time, other content creators like Caruso, Smeared with Soot, The Trucker Billy, Big Bad Mama, Atheist Jr.
Content creators? Guys, let me just go back to my PowerPoint here, Joseph. These guys are content creators. Oh, right here. Okay. Mine's Kent Hovind. I live at 488 Pearl Lane, cabin 1. Yeah, I don't have nothing to hide. Okay, let's see. Cloudy Bowels. Cloudy's got over 1,000 subscribers. Go get him, Cloudy. Simon Dan, 600,000. He deceives all his people into believing the dumb evolution religion. Okay, so these are some of the comments on this video, the short clip I just played part of. I wasn't jailed for tax fraud. I covered that last night. It was for structuring and failure to withhold taxes from employees, and I didn't break any laws, okay? Show me what law I broke instead of just saying I'm a tax protester. There's a war going on. I want to keep going. Anyway, and the money he transferred illegally, that is just plain lying, okay? You're lying about me. I didn't transfer any money illegally. Show me what rule I broke. Show me which one I violated. Come on. There isn't a law about structuring. Okay. Anyway, there should be no S. Anyways, doesn't have the S, guys. They do that all the time. Anyways. Okay. Anyway, he doesn't run a cult. He's a Baptist minister with a science center and a theme park based on dinosaurs and the Bible. Why do they keep saying it's a cult? Why don't you show me why? I didn't commit a crime at all, okay? Ambushed apostate. They say if you're rubbing the cat the wrong way, tell the cat to turn around, okay? We look at psychology, whoa, and demonstrable scientific methods to measure cult behavior. Okay, well then, apostate, you're the perfect one to tell me exactly why it's a cult. Ken Hovind matches the criteria of being cult leader 100 times over. Well, that ought to be easy for you to give some specifics. You match all the characteristics of being an idiot 1,000 times over, but I'll debate you anyway, sweetly in Christian love, okay? You'll give a month's pay to invite him down here to work with us for a week. He couldn't handle a week at work here. He probably couldn't handle one day. Yeah. Has to do with someone taking Christianity and weaponizing it to abuse his well-meaning, yet gullible followers. I don't abuse any followers. You're welcome to get a new channel, apostate. Just push a button. There's a button on your computer someplace to change channels, okay? I've been asking for it for 35 years. Show it to me. Look at that right here. See that? Dr. Kent Hovind. That bother you? Good. I'm so glad. Hope it keeps you up late at night. Okay. Hovind versus ambushed apostate. I guess I did whack him some time ago.
Dodge this.
Dun dun dun.
Love it.
Video's going and you're not.
And I'm muted again.
Go.
Yes, I love it. Just doubling down on the same things I recently did. Awesome. Austin, what's up, man? What you think?
I thought it was excellent. You nailed it. It was great.
For those of you who don't know, Austin debated Kent.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, can you give me a little summary of that and the people who might not know, and maybe not only what it was about, but maybe how some of the same characteristics.
This is what happened. My grandmother, who is the one who got me out of young earth creationism, passed away. So I decided I was going to try and help some people out who had been tricked, bamboozled, trapped in young earth creationism, and started putting it out there that, I would take a debate, I would talk to somebody, I would try and convince them that creationism is wrong. And that's when I met this golden individual named Eric Jewell. And if you know Eric Jewell, you know I'm being sarcastic when I say golden individual. Eric Jewell is a piece of work. He basically runs a channel that's like a creationist North Korea. He lures people into his channel, promising to debate them, but he turns out to be the moderator himself. And he will mute you and talk over you and have a very one-sided interaction where he's not actually trying to hear your arguments. He's just basically ranting over you. I debated him 4 times despite these, disadvantages to appearing on his platform, and I still wiped the floor with him all 4 times.
So just to be clear, this dude was moderating his own debate?
Yes. And in 2 or 3 of them, actually, he had another person show up and pretend to be the moderator while he still had moderator privileges himself, which we had expressly agreed upon was not to be the case after he started muting me during the 2nd debate. The 3rd debate was more polite. And then the 4th debate, he started doing it again. And after that, I said I wouldn't debate him anymore, because also in the 4th debate, he was screaming, "Show me your sources." And I was literally posting my sources in the live chat and
There
on
are
the
no
comments,
sources.
and he was deleting them and erasing them and not looking at them.
Oh,
so, yeah.
super intellectually honest guy. I love
That
that.
that was Eric Jewell. And I realized, man, this guy debates a lot like Kent Hovind. Could I go straight to the top, to the possibly most famous young earth creationist in the world as just a random guy on YouTube and wipe the floor with him too? And that's exactly, absolutely what happened. Donnie Badinsky ended up reaching out to me and was like, "Hey, do you want to debate Kent?" And I was like, "Absolutely. But what would a big famous doctor like Kent Hovind want to debate little old me on? Just evidence of evolution?" And of course, he jumped on it because that's the debate Kent has done 5 million times.
Right.
I came in with 3 different angles that he wasn't ready for. I dropped all of them. The first one being evolution is quantifiable, falsifiable, possible solution to unanswered questions about natural history. The second one being the church fathers like Aquinas, Augustine, Clemens, Didymus, Irenaeus, Justin Martyr, etc., Origen, Maimonides, Gersonides, who all said that, it's possible that there's an evolutionary creation that's within God's infinite possibilities. And the third angle being God's infinite possibilities are infinite, and that includes evolution. And he didn't touch any one of those 3. He just ran his usual shtick. I played around with him on that after he didn't touch any of my 3 main arguments, and got him to say whale penis about as many times as I could. He said whale penis, I think 50 times over a span of 15 minutes. One of my friends mixed it into a techno beat. Whale penis, giant penis, giant penis. It was hilarious. It went really well. I used some interrogator techniques on him, and he didn't even realize that I was actually being very sarcastic and making fun of him for most of the debate. He thought I was sincerely complimenting him. It went really well. I was really proud of the performance. Of course, his fans think Kent wins every debate because he's there defending God, so he can't lose. And
Right.
I called that out overtly and addressed that too. And I think it went really well for my part. Obviously, I'm biased. I I was one of the participants, but I got a lot of compliments, and I didn't hear anybody say, "Oh man, you just beefed it,"
Well,
which I have seen some debates where people have beefed it against Kent.
Yeah, I mean, this is, look, I could barely do a live stream with my friends, without a bunch of issues. So I'm not downplaying anybody who steps up to do a debate on this type of platform.
Yeah.
I got to respect the ability and the willingness to go do it. That being said, Kent is very predictable. I don't want to say he's easy to debate, because he's really not. He runs all these predetermined scripts. He doesn't have any way of making a new thought. But if you can get through those scripts,
he's all over the map too. He'll switch topics and
right.
go.
Well, he's really good at deflection. He's really good at, changing the subject and moving the goalpost and all of those things. Because when you start coming in, especially somebody like you who's articulate and, you've got actual facts and knowledge to present instead of just the gish gallop that he does, he gets intimidated. So it's like he's hearing what you're saying, these 3 points, for instance. And then he's thinking, so you mean to tell me that everything came from a dot?
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Non sequitur for 600? Like, what are we, but that being his playbook, I would imagine going into it, especially if you were to do it now, it would just be like, just present things he doesn't have a script for. Is that pretty much it?
Basically. And you have to get him to actually bite on those things, because he'll just ignore them if he doesn't want to. Like, so it's really shocking to me how, as a Christian pastor, he won't talk about the Bible in debates about evolution.
Absolutely refuses to.
It refuses to do it.
Right. Which is telling, right?
Yeah.
And that also goes back to the current, religious climate with all this stuff going on. That's why I'm taking the project I'm working on from the angle that I am. Let's look at what Scripture says. Like, this is your guide for life. Like, why are we not going to it all the time and using that instead of this? Well, I've got a book over here written by some God knows who in 1976. He scans the page and uses that as a source.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That is his idea of presenting this information.
Yeah.
Go straight to the Bible and let's talk about it. Let's talk about the verses that talk about the world being set up on pillars.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that is precisely the issue, Seth, is he knows, as Delulu as he is, he's not Delulu enough to not see how anemic his theology is. It's a really bad theology. It's stilted, it's childish, it's ridiculously and woodenly literal. And it's not convincing to anybody but the most extreme, hardcore, fundamentalist, ingrained, indoctrinated, inculcated cult members. He knows that theology, it looks really bad when it's exposed to a viewpoint that isn't sympathetic to it, that it's really easy to pick apart. And I did that a little bit in our debate. And of course, he didn't want to touch that at all. Like, I brought up the argument about how you can interpret Scripture both literally and as a literary device simultaneously. Like, when the Bible says, God is mighty, does that mean God is jacked with a six-pack and huge biceps and shoulders and a demon back, like freaking,
God never skips leg day.
Right, yeah. Or do you think it means that God is a powerful spirit? You can read it both literally and as a literary device at the same time. And of course, he didn't even want to touch that. Again, he won't talk about things like that while being a Christian pastor who pretends to be a doctor.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a spot on point. And Dade Murphy actually brought something up in a chat the other day, and I'm going to paraphrase it because he's way more, well-spoken than I am. But he was talking about the fact that people like that buy into this type of, theology are gullible people by nature to a certain extent, because the people who are asking questions, the people are saying, hey, this is not what the Bible says, or this is by definition fascism, whatever the case. They don't want those people. They want to go to the people who are like, man, you seen what is going on Facebook? I seen it on Facebook. It's got to be right. Oh, he's a preacher, man. He said, he's been preaching like 40 years. I believe everything he says. Those type of people, that kind of attitude, I guess, is more appropriate to say. That type of mindset is who he's going after. So it's almost like when you get somebody like you that comes in, or Professor Dave, or somebody that just blows him away intellectually, it's almost like he writes it off like, yeah, I'm going to dismiss this and my followers are going to believe it. The smart people already know I'm full of it anyway, so we'll chalk this up to a wash this time. I feel like that's sort of his approach.
You're getting into what I think is the most relevant aspect of this debate. The reason Kent Hovind still believes in creationism, and why most of the people in his audience that believe in creationism still believe in creationism, is because creationism is based around a presupposed dogmatic conclusion that you are to never sincerely even question, let alone actually discard, no matter how much evidence contradicts it, nor how well you're shown the evidence contradicts it. If you're shown evidence that contradicts the presupposed conclusion, you're not supposed to actually consider that the evidence might be valid and question and possibly discard the conclusion. You're supposed to find some way that the evidence is wrong. You're supposed to attack the evidence, or you're supposed to find some way to reinterpret it so that it doesn't undermine the presupposed dogmatic conclusion. Kent knows that most of his audience is on that level. Most of his audience that are creationists, they have the presupposed dogmatic conclusion and they're never going to question it. I'm not there to convince them. I'm there to offer a viewpoint to people who are actually interested in sincerely questioning their worldview and stress testing it to see if it stands up to scrutiny and to refine it into a better version that does if it doesn't.
Right.
But it can be easy to get distracted by trying to convince this person that's sitting across the table from you. Because in a way, that is kind of what you're trying to do. He's just a version of that person that you're never going to convince. Otherwise, he wouldn't be up on stage across the desk from you, you know?
Right. And I want to be clear too, I've had some people say, are you going to debate him? Obviously I've called him a couple times a while back. I have no intention of dealing with him directly, and I am not responding to him to change his mind. I'm hoping to put together a sort of a polished piece on this whacking to really show his destructive, high control, nature. That's not for him. Like, I have lost hope for people like Kent because and I don't know if it's the sunken cost fallacy or if they are just their brain chemistry is so completely fried.
That's part of it too.
That's sad. I have sympathy for that because I wish he would have gotten better. But I don't do this for Kent. I do this for the people that are going to find him. Yeah. And I think when you approach it that way, from a debate standpoint, understanding this is never going to change his mind as your opponent. But the people who find the video may actually look at it and weigh it for what it's worth.
Yeah, that's why when I debated Kent, that I live streamed the whole thing. And I asked multiple times about the demographics in his audience. I wanted to know what's the youngest person in your audience right now? Because anyone who's over 25, they're probably not changing their worldview, no matter how compelling of an argument I make. So is this just for entertainment, or are there people here who will actually have their worldview changed? And of course, the youngest person in his audience was like 31 years old. It's nothing but adults and boomers.
Well,
sometimes he gets kids. They're really, really young. They're not likely to even remember it.
Right.
And sometimes people are listening in the audience and their kids are listening. Like after I had that debate, somebody mentioned in a comment later, my 7-year-old was listening and he was laughing while you were smearing Kent. So that's great to know that there, even when there isn't anybody in Kent's specific audience, I might be reaching somebody in one of the other windows that's streaming, So I think there is value to doing it. Kent is slippery. His platform is skewed in his favor. Especially when he has favorable moderators. It's tricky. You have to ride the line between being respectful and also telling him he's full of shit at the same time.
And that is a line that, you do want to walk carefully, because at least for me, I don't want to sit here and talk for, 3 straight minutes about how he uses ad homs and, disparages people, and then turn around and do it to him, even though he is right for the pickings. It's like, and we've talked about some of this before, me and you, and just so the audience knows, I've tried to take a very neutral and sort of compassionate and empathetic stance to this whole Kirk situation, not because he wasn't a really slimy, really destructive human, but in some self-reflection over this whole thing, it's because I was so much like Kent for so many years, where it was like just expected to disparage, you know, the LGBT community, any other religion, anybody who voted Democrat to such a really horrific extent. I try really hard these days to not take that low-hanging fruit with Kent. I want to approach it as factually as possible, maybe a little bit of snark in there, but I don't want to cause those deep cuts that it does cause to some people when you start attacking them on certain levels. I don't want to be that guy anymore. That's just, for the record, where I'm at with a lot of stuff these days. And it's not to say that I'm justifying their behavior or that I'm not hard enough on them, so I must not be against them enough. Me personally, I was a really crappy person because of these beliefs, so I'm just trying to be better. That's it. Hope that makes sense.
There are sociological forces that keep people in place. Their primary group's opinion is very influencing on their own views. And a big part of getting somebody to change their worldview is to make leaving groups like that look attractive enough that they will do it. And it's hard to make that option look attractive if they see it as everyone outside of that group is attacking them. And that's part of why cult leaders will reinforce that mythology intensely in their followers. And you hear it and you see it. I saw comments underneath Donnie Deal's little video he did about the shooter saying, guaranteed this guy who killed Charlie Kirk was an evolutionist. Guaranteed he was a fucking evolution. Are you fucking kidding me?
Right. Just zero evidence.
When has he ever said anything about evolution?
Yeah, I don't think
does
we
this
know
have fucking anything to do with anything?
And it doesn't, but what it does is exactly, it triggers the response of everyone who hears it. Oh yeah, he's an evolutionist, which means he don't believe in God. And it's probably because he wanted to go out and kill people. Well, story checks out. You believe in evolution, you end up shooting some, high profile conservative. That's the conclusion that Christians draw in their mind with that, and it's poisoning the well.
It's us versus them story
it's
maintained.
Slippery slope. It's poisoning the whale. It's us versus them.
And
it's all kinds of logical fallacies blended into one.
You've got the logical fallacy side, and then you have what I am going to get into more as I continue to get settled down and start streaming here more often. We're going to really start breaking down cult behavior as we know it, according to psychologists who see what this high control stuff does, and they've put it into lists, into categories, and we're going to start picking that aspect apart, because the us versus them mentality is a form of psychological warfare from the leadership to the followers to keep them in line. And those kind of things, coupled with everything else, it's a very destructive and a very toxic framework that it puts you in, once these things are implemented. So, man, here's the thing with Austin. I could sit here and talk with him all day about literally anything. Him and I got to spend some time together in real life up at the Ark Encounter protest, and he is officially part of the original cabin crew. So that will never change. Love you to death, bro. I'd love to have you back on to have a longer conversation about any of these topics. Chris is actually getting ready to go live, and I've got to jump and go run some errands.
Can I say one final thing?
I was going to say, I'm going to let you close it out, but you're welcome to hit me up, and we'll do this. We'll do this again.
So religion teaches you to disregard reason and rationality and to operate based on faith. And once you've disregarded reason and rationality and started operating on faith, it becomes really difficult to be correct about flipping anything except by pure accident. And that's what I'll end with.
That's a very good point. Very good point. To everybody still watching, there's still 12 of you who have hung in here for over an hour with me as I have fumbled through this first live stream. I just want to say thank you guys so much. The crew who's been here from day one, I love y'all like family. I honestly mean that. There's people that I'm starting to get to know that I genuinely care about. just like I do my own family. So, and then we've got new people coming in all the time. Thank you for being here. Shoot me a message. Let's talk. Conversations and interactions are what I'm here for. Not sub counts, not views, these type of talks, so we can get to the bottom of this stuff and we can have more conversations about Laura's dad. You know, people like Laura's dad, you know, honestly taking a look at what we're talking about and stepping away from it. That's my goal. So thank you guys for being here. Austin, it's been a pleasure. Chris will be live shortly to whack Kent while he whacks. I'm not going to finish that sentence. Just check out Chris's channel. Love you guys.